Hi everybody, welcome to Tech Tip Friday. I'm your host Kurt Staley, that plastics guy, and I'm bringing you a tech, well, maybe business tip that you can take to the shop floor with you today. So if you've watched my Tech Tip Fridays for any period of time, you'll know that I cover the basics quite a bit. And why is that? Well, you know, one way to look at success, and it's a little tricky because we all define success a little bit differently depending on our own needs and wants and, well, perceptions of what success is. But in business, success can simply be executing everything that you have to do on a daily basis in order to meet the goals that you and your company have set. And how do we achieve that kind of success? Well, it's that execution. And how do we execute those tasks to get to our goals? We do the same things that we have to do day in and day out. We do them perfectly. And that's one of the reasons why I talk about a lot of basics on the Tech Tip Friday. We have to be able to get the basics right day in and day out, repeatably, reliably, in order to achieve success in our specific job role within an organization and ultimately, you know, have a successful company. One of the things that I do, I have a very systematized process to approach order entry and delivery of materials once they're made with my customers. There's a sequence of steps: reviewing, getting a purchase order, reviewing pricing, getting a purchase order placed in turn on my supplier, dealing with freight. Whatever the case, I have a very specific way to approach it, and I do it. I could not necessarily do it in my sleep, but it's almost autopilot. I know exactly what I have to do, and it's done the same way every time. So think about doing something like, well, a mold change, and I've talked about this a few times on my Tech Tip Fridays. Do you have a checklist? Remember the one I did on checklists? Well, do you have a checklist to walk you through all the things that you have to do in order to do that mold change successfully? Do you use that? Are you doing those basics correctly day in and day out to minimize downtime and maximize the usage out of your capital equipment? So it's just something to think about. We talk about the basics, and I'll continue talking about the basics so we get the basics right day in, day out, make it reliable, repeatable, and then we can achieve the success we have to in our roles. So I'll leave that with you, something you can take to the shop floor, whatever function you perform in your organization. And until next week, have a great Friday, a great weekend, and we'll be back at you soon. Thanks so much. Bye for now.